Hey everyone, today, April 17th, and running all the way through Easter Sunday on April 20th. We're looking at damaging winds, large hail, tornado potential, and even the risk for some flash flooding in spots. Then, on top of that, we're also seeing expanding dry weather across much of the country, which is really cranking up fire weather concerns across the desert Southwest and the plains. I'm also going to give you an update on the drought situation because that ties into a lot of what's happening this week. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you find these updates helpful, hit that like button, give the video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends, family, and anyone you know on social media. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel for the latest, most accurate, and reliable weather coverage right here on YouTube. I seriously appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. So, kicking things off with our severe weather threat tomorrow, we've got a slight risk from Nebraska into parts of Iowa, southern Minnesota, and northern Missouri for Thursday, April 17th. Then that cold front is going to slide east on Friday, bringing the severe threat from Michigan down through North Texas heading into Saturday. Easter weekend, we're watching for storms stretching from central Pennsylvania all the way back down into south central Texas. And then on Easter Sunday itself, the threat shifts from southern Illinois all the way to southeast Texas. So we've got a lot to dissect in the days ahead. But before we get there, let's take a quick look at the temperatures we saw this afternoon. And it was a hot one across the plains. Western Kansas, the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles, and eastern New Mexico all surged into the low 90s this afternoon. And looking ahead, record-breaking heat is going to be a story too, especially across drought-stricken areas in Kansas, western Oklahoma, and the Texas panhandle. West Texas in particular is baking under these dry, drought-driven conditions. The latest drought update just came out this past Thursday, April 10th, and it really paints the picture. Extreme to exceptional drought across New Mexico, West Texas, western Oklahoma, and western Kansas. Dry ground heats up way faster than most ground. That's why places like Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky are cooler right now. There's more moisture in the soil, keeping those temps in check. As we head into tomorrow, highs will jump into the mid-90s again across Kansas, western Oklahoma, and parts of Texas. Then Friday, a cold front pushes in, but it's still going to stay toasty, especially in southern Texas, where the Rio Grande Valley could even flirt with triple digits. We'll see. 80s pushing up into the Midwest and Ohio Valley. And while it'll cool down a bit in the north for Easter weekend, it'll stay plenty warm across the south and southeast. Now, let's talk about that dry air and the fire danger situation because it's a serious concern. Relative humidity values today already dropped down into the single digits and teens in many spots. And as we head into Thursday, some areas could drop to 3, 4, or 5%. That is critically dry air, folks, and this isn't just a one-day thing either. It'll stick around through Friday too, maybe with a slight improvement, but still dangerously dry. From fire weather, alerts are up for a huge area tomorrow across New Mexico, Colorado, West Kansas, western Oklahoma, including the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles and West Texas. Burning is a huge no-no. In those cherry red areas, we've got critical fire weather concerns. And in the magenta zones of central and northeastern New Mexico, it's extremely critical. The fire danger will shift a bit Friday, sliding south across south central New Mexico and West Texas. But again, no burning. And it's not just the dry air. It's the wind too. Winds were already gusty today, but tomorrow they'll ramp up big time in New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. Some gusts up in the mountains of New Mexico could top 80 mph. Hurricane force wind gusts. Any fires get started in those conditions. They'll spread fast. Friday will be a touch better up north, but southern New Mexico will still be dealing with wind gusts of 70 to 75 MP. So again, just stay fire safe out there. Switching gears back to severe weather in the short term, we've got a marginal risk tonight for parts of Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and the eastern Texas panhandle. The main concerns are hail, some gusty winds, and maybe a brief isolated tornado. Storm initiation is likely between now and at about 9:00 p.m., especially across western and central Kansas. From there, those storms will cluster up as they move into eastern Kansas, bringing hail, wind, and a brief tornado risk as they track toward Missouri overnight. What's really setting the stage for this marathon severe weather event through the weekend is a long wave trough. It stretches from Hudson Bay in Canada all the way back to California, a positively tilted trough, meaning it'll be slow moving. By Easter Sunday, it'll finally eject into the mid-Mississippi Valley, bringing a more potent severe weather setup. Looking at moisture, instability, and wind shear, all the ingredients we need for severe storms. And we've got them. Gulf moisture is surging north into the Midwest Thursday and Friday ahead of the front, sticking around into Saturday and Sunday. The Cape values are storm fuel. We'll be ramping up to, peaking tomorrow afternoon and staying high through Sunday before the cold front comes in and pushes all that instability east early next week. Zooming on tomorrow's severe weather outlook, we've got a level 2 out of 5 risk in the yellow zone covering Lincoln, Nebraska, Des Moines, Kansas City, and up toward Rochester, Minnesota. Big hail is the main threat, possibly 2 to 3 inches in diameter with some of the instability values we're seeing. Damaging winds of 60 mph or more are also possible, along with a brief tornado or two, especially around Des Moines, Omaha, and Kansas City. Overnight Thursday into Friday morning, those storms will track toward the Mississippi River and start to weaken. Likely set a bit of a lull around midday Friday. Then things heat up again late Friday afternoon with storms firing along the front from Minnesota down into Iowa and eastern Nebraska. Any one of these could be severe, tracking east through Iowa, Wisconsin, and possibly into Illinois overnight. Madison, Waterloo, Prairie du Chien, keep an eye out for this. Friday's severe threat covers a wide stretch from Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis, and St. Louis down through Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and the DFW Metroplex. Saturday, it slides further south again, covering Dallas, Fort Worth, Little Rock, Paducah, Clarksville, Lexington, Louisville, Cincinnati, Charleston, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh. The model guidance shows a good amount of lightning with the setup Friday afternoon from Michigan down to Texas. Storms up north may lose strength after sunset, but they'll persist further south into the overnight. Easter Sunday is the big day. As the trough ejects into the mid-Mississippi Valley, we'll see a stronger low-level jet develop, raising the tornado risk from southern Illinois down to the Gulf Coast. Supercells are likely to form from Illinois to coastal Texas by mid to late afternoon Sunday. Places like Paducah, Carbondale, the Missouri Bootheel, Memphis, Monroe, and Houston should be on alert for severe storms and tornado potential. Enemy storms will move east Sunday night. Now, when it comes to wind and hail, tomorrow is going to be a hail-heavy kind of day. That's going to be the main issue through this whole period. To show you the hail threat map for tomorrow and the areas at risk, including spots where we could see significant severe, which means hail 2 inches or larger in diameter. That's some serious stuff coming down. The National Weather Service is already calling for isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms from late afternoon tomorrow into the evening across the Corn Belt states. Large hail, a couple tornadoes, and localized damaging winds could all pop off in that area, and the wind gusts. Those will be ramping up to, we're talking 50 to 60 MF wind gusts, spreading from Kansas all the way through the Dakotas, eastern Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. It's going to trigger a train of storms later on, especially nocturnal storms, which we can already see showing up on the vorticity maps. As we say, heading into Friday, that severe weather threat ramps right back up, stretching from the south central U.S. up into the Ohio Valley. And get this, these storms look like they're going to train all night long, lasting well into the early morning hours and moving through the interior Northeast. Then on Saturday, more storms fire up and keep on training through the region. By Saturday evening into Sunday morning, that negative tilt really kicks in, amplifying the winds and cranking up the severe weather risk even more. As that system lifts north, the strongest winds will be on the east and south sides of the low pressure system, moving through Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Definitely something to keep your eyes on. When I checked the Euro model late Thursday into Friday, it's showing that cap breaking eventually with some cold air aloft pushing in, letting those storms blow up Friday night into Saturday morning. Scattered storms continue through Saturday evening with a continued risk of damaging winds, hail, and even a few tornadoes. By Sunday, that negative tilt creates those dangerous long bands of storms with damaging straight line winds growing for the south central states as we go through Sunday morning. By Sunday evening, you'll want to watch those discrete cells ahead of the main system. Those isolated supercells are usually the ones that produce tornadoes. You can already see on the models how that long tail of storms grows with those strong winds aloft stretching right into Sunday night. And just like I mentioned, a few days back, Sunday storm system is still shaping up to be the strongest part of this entire outbreak. It'll hang around in the morning with scattered storms still floating around. Then it kind of fizzles before ramping right back up again Tuesday evening. And yep, more hail chances then too. But we kind of be keeping an eye on this as the severe weather risk stretches out for a few more days Sunday's still showing some dangerous signs, especially with that negative tilt over Oklahoma, Texas, northern Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The Euro sees it, but the GF isn't picking up that same tilt. So he pushes everything more northeast instead. So models are already in disagreement, and we're still about 2 days out. I'll stay on top of it for you guys. Also, looks like this whole setup is going to drop a ton of rain over the next week. The WPC's got a flooding threat lined up. And when you zoom out with the national blended models, you'll see how all that rain piles up, especially in those areas with repeated storms. Some places could see 2 inches or more with isolated spots hitting 4 inches or higher. Definitely keep flood risks in mind if you live in those areas. Even the Climate Prediction Center shows above average rainfall sticking around for the next 2 weeks in this whole zone. This pattern isn't going anywhere just yet, but there's something new I've been watching too, and I'll have updates on that soon. Now, as for the drought situation, unfortunately, this round of storms won't do much to help places in the south and southwest. A few areas might get some minor relief, but from southern Texas westward, it's not looking great. Still dry out there. I'm also expecting an enhanced risk day to get added to this outlook. I'll let you know when it happens. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed, click that bell. Thanks for watching.